Discernment. We all have it. We've all been given it. We've all been given discernment. Some of us are more sharp in it than others because we use it more, but we all have it. And I'm saying this because we don't realize that we are literally in a war right now. It's just not Ukraine and Russia that's having this war. It's the whole world that's having this war. And people are not understanding the correlation between that war and what's going on in each and every atmosphere of this world. People are talking about the Will Smith and Chris Rock incident on the Oscars. What people are not paying attention to is the correlation between that war and what happened there. Okay, let me break it down to you. How many of you have noticed that since this war kicked off, that the atmosphere, the weather's been crazy? One day it's 80 degrees, the next day is 20 something degrees. One day is sunny and bright like a spring day, the next day is snowing. Who noticed that? Who noticed how these winds all of a sudden are stirring up each and every time that they're bombing and they're doing these aggressive things, that the wind here in the States are kicking up. They're spinning. You hear it in the atmosphere because we are attached to that war. When that war started, portals open, folks. Spiritual entities come through, not just from the heavens. We're talking about demonic possession, influences, and things that are happening. So we have to be very mindful of the connection, and also know that people who are agreeing with Will Smith about what he did and applauding him, he stood up for his wife and applauding, be mindful that the devil is watching. All those who have applauded and said they would do the same thing, now you have put yourself in a situation where you can be challenged the same way Will Smith was. And I want y'all to go back and look at the video, pay close attention. Now, granted, the clips are cut the way they recorded it, but what they do show is this. You see Chris Rock make a comment or a joke about G.I. Jane. They show Jada. She clearly looks disheveled and offended. However, despite that, with the bald head, she looks gorgeous. I personally didn't know she had any alopecia or anything going on. I just thought that she was rocking this new style because she rocks so many different styles. So that don't mean that he knew that. But let's keep going. She looks very uncomfortable. They show Will laughing at the joke. Then all of a sudden, they pan back to Chris Rock, and then all of a sudden he see Will coming. He's, and he's coming up. Now Will goes up. He goes up and he pauses before he hits him. He hits him, and when he hits him, he paused to see if there was going to be a reaction. There was no reaction that he was ensuing that was going to happen. He walks back off the stage. He sits down, and then instead of just leaving it at that, he says, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, right? Now, he says it twice, but if you notice on the second time he said it, right before he said it, he's smirking with a smile. Excuse me. The first thing I felt was that it was a stunt. Excuse me. I thought it was clearly a stunt. And I'm watching for little key attributes that says it could have been. However, we're going to go with the fact that this was real. Now, a few things to take away. One, you see Will, like I said, before he said it the second time, he's smirking. He's smiling, he's trying to hold it back. And then all of a sudden you can see this rage thing come up in his body and through his eyes. And that's when he repeats it again. But I also noticed something too. They didn't show his wife again, which I thought was very odd. They didn't show her, right? So when that happened, you think they were panning to her to see what her expression was. So somewhere between her feeling uncomfortable with the joke and Will laughing at the joke, somewhere in that exchange, whether she looked at him and he, oh shoot, and he realized, oh, that wasn't funny, I shouldn't have laughed at that, or the fact that she might have gotten up and left, and he said, okay, now I got to do something. So to me, it was about fear, not about protecting his wife, not showing protection or whatever of his wife. To me, it was fear that he knew that if I don't do something, I'm in a situation here, and this is when the enemy gets a hold and be able to take. So it wasn't I don't think it was a demonic possession, but it definitely was a demonic influence. So when you watch this transition happen, you know it's beyond what everybody thinks it is. And again, this correlation between everything. If you look at everything that's going around in this world and everything that's happening, how people are doing stuff so out of character, you know it's something in the atmosphere, something is brewing. We have to be mindful. Don't be if you're sitting there talking about, oh, he did it right here, be careful, because now you are putting yourself in a situation where the enemy can challenge you in that same scenario. And then now, but your situation might not end up the same. Your situation might not end up the same. So we need to be mindful that there's these correlations going on. These demons, you got to understand something. Demons need human bodies to survive on this earth when they're on this earth. Once they use that body, they move on. So like I said again, some are possessions where they stay, and some are influences where they can touch you and have you thinking, do this, you should do that. And this is what's going on if you really pay attention to what's going on. So I really want y'all to be mindful. Use your discernment. Don't get so caught up in everybody else and what everybody else is doing. If you want to discuss it, fine. And there's nothing wrong with discussing it, saying, you know what, wow, if I was in that situation, I'm not sure if I would have did that. And if I would have did that, how would I felt afterwards? I mean, the whole gamut of the discussion. But if you're just throwing out there, he did the right thing, and I would have whooped this and all this other stuff, you are now putting yourself in a situation where now you can be challenged, not necessarily in that same manner, but in the manner in itself, to figure out how would you respond in the situation. And also, let me say, these are words. We're talking about words that were spoken, and not saying that. No. Let me back that up. I'm not going to say that, because when you go to these Oscars, you know what's there. You know they make fun of people, how they look, how they talk, how they walk, how they do business. They do everything. So you know what's there. So my thing is, because you know what's there, you can't take offense. That's just like myself. If I'm invited to go out to a club, and somebody say, oh, let's go out to this club. I'm like, okay, I feel like partying. I'm going to go out, which I don't do, but necessary to say if I did. And I say, okay, I want to go out, I'm going to party. And it's okay, by the way, it's a gay club. Now, I can make a choice. I can say, well, shoot, a party's a party. I'm going. Or I can say, well, you know what? I want to go to a club, but I don't know if I want to go to that one. And people are like, oh, well, are you homophobic? No, it's not the fact that I'm homophobic. It's the fact of I'm not interested in women. So if I go to a club where it's a gay club where there's women, and if I'm dancing, if somebody come and dance with me or on me or close to me, I can't get offended. Why? Because I know what I'm into. I know what's there. I know what I should be expecting. So again, this is that type of scenario. So don't let this situation, folks, get you so riled up with words being said that you are taking yourself out of this peaceful place and getting riled up, because you are now allowing yourself to become the same victim as Will Smith was. Again, watch his demeanor, watch his facial expressions and change it, and you will see that a demonic influence at the least was upon him when this is happening. And that's why when he got up and he said his little speech, that's why he was crying, because that demonic influence was off of him. When you have a possession that's on you, you ain't crying at the end. You'll say what you got to say and you going about your business. But when it's an influence, it's very temporary. It's just for that moment. So we must be mindful of how we handle any situation and how we're speaking on these situations, that we don't come susceptible to them as well. So I just wanted to say that. Please have a beautiful day, but understand the correlation, folks, is going on, and keep yourself protected. Keep prayer in your house. Keep the gospels in your house. Keep everything flowing in your house and everywhere you may go and your feet may tread, because nowhere is free of the enemy trying to try his hand. All right? Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.